Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all who have logged into our Beyond the Title YouTube live series. This is Steve George coming to you from Insider. Joining us is the most fabulous Monika Schulze. Monika, can you please introduce your lovely self?
So I'm Monika Schulze, working for Zurich Insurance. Before that, I worked in the FMCG industry. So I'm one of those who switched industries, and with that, you have to switch your mindset completely as well. And never imagined that marketing would be so different compared from FMCG to insurance, but it is. And I learned a lot, and I'm happy to be here today. Thanks a lot for the invitation, Steve.
Oh, awesome. Awesome to have you, Monica. Awesome to have you. By the way, before we start on to it, you sent us this lovely picture, which of course we've used to show who is Monica Schultz and who you're going to be interviewing today. Can you tell us the story behind that lovely picture? You had two lovely ladies right next to you.
You mean the marathon picture from Barcelona?
Yes, that's the one.
So, I mean, that story is really funny. I have to say, I never loved running. I thought running was completely boring, and I'm like, no, I don't want to run. Having said that, I have three children. All three of them started running. And the first time I went running with them, it was like, okay, fine, they're still relatively young, cannot be a problem, let's go, yeah. It took me 200 meters and I almost died, yeah, until I realized it might be a good idea to get a bit of training as well. So we started running together because I thought it was nice to do something together with the kids. Having worked a lot all the time, it was always good to do something together. And then we started going to the Barcelona Marathon together because we are sponsoring the marathon in Barcelona.
Wow.
But
Good
don't get me
stuff.
wrong, we don't run the 40K because I think that's not very healthy, at least not for me. So we always run the first round, which is 10K, and that is fun because the atmosphere in Barcelona is great. And I love Spain, I love Barcelona, love the Spanish colleagues, so I'm always very happy to be there. And it was very sad that we couldn't go there this year because of obviously in
Yeah.
March it couldn't take place. Yeah? So they had to cancel.
Yeah. So you are training still for your 10K?
Yes, of course.
Nice.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
are running. You run 10K more than me, so I'm happy someone in this interview is keeping more in shape than I am.
No, but to be honest, I mean, that's the big advantage of being at home so much. I mean, if you're
So true.
nailed down and glued to your chair the whole day, I mean, you have to do something in the evening, otherwise you die, I think. So
Awesome, awesome.
almost evening when I have time, I go running, so that's good.
See, being cooped up in the house, you mentioned something really well. You take the time to self focus, to train yourself to get better. But what is it that gets you out of your bed early morning? What is it that directs you, focuses your attention? What's your ikigai?
I have to admit, it was always this, oh, I want to be successful in life, yeah? Uh, and
Good
that's
aim.
something that motivated me. And successful means I mean, from today's perspective, it is giving positive energy to others and getting positive energy back, and getting to know as many cultures, countries as possible in order to reflect about what is it that's me, what is it to be German. So I always loved to be in other countries, and my dream was to live and work in other countries as well. That's one of the reasons why I joined Unilever, by the way, because they promised from the beginning, if you join here, it's pretty clear that you can only do a career if you go to other countries. So I lived in Sweden, I lived in Hungary, I worked around the globe. I was responsible for Japan, for the States, for Canada. And that's something which motivates me because I have the feeling I get a lot of positive energy and I can give as well.
Well,
Today, of course, the perspective is a little bit different because I have to admit, I love being a mother. I love
very good.
giving energy and seeing how my kids grow and strive. And mentoring them and helping them to succeed in life is something which I like. And by the way, I also help a lot of colleagues, and especially women, I have to admit, because it's still not that easy to be a woman in bigger companies and strive there as well. So.
Monica, I've always admired you. Of course, I follow your posts on LinkedIn. I do follow you, and not just your career, but also, what you speak when you speak of it, whether it's mentoring, new start. I say new startups, but new companies, like you have in the past, or even people from a career perspective, from mentoring women in leadership positions in tech as well. I've enjoyed that amount of support that you give. And I think for you, a lot of that success that you say you always want to be successful is you give back that success to the community around you. And I think that's something unique. And I don't say everyone does it, and I don't say everyone does not do it, but I think you do it in a more pronounced way, which I kind of enjoy and admire about you.
Thank you.
Now you've traveled a lot. You've been around the world, and you, of course, as you said, you while you're focused on your career a lot, you do focus on your kids. Do you guys get to watch movies together? Do you have your movie nights?
Yes, of course. The kids love to watch movies, and of course, we're watching a lot of movies together as well. My husband doesn't like that much because he's more into something physical, respectively play together as well, which is something we do.
Okay.
But
when you say play as board games, or play as in you do American football all of a sudden outside of the garden?
No, board games.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
Yeah, so that's very nice as well. So we balance between the board games and then the series we like here.
So let me ask you a two-part question. What's the best movie character that represents you? And what's your husband's favorite board game that you like as well?
I mean, to be honest, yeah, I'm getting into trouble saying what is it, yeah, or what is a person that could represent me, because it's so different. But if you ask me who do I admire, I think it's Julia Roberts, because
Amazing woman.
She's an amazing woman. She's very successful in a world that is not that easy, especially for a woman, if you ask me. She seems to be very down to earth. I've never met her, but I mean, if you look at her, you have the feeling she's down to earth. She's not snobby. She's very good in balancing work life as well, which I like.
Yeah.
And she's funny. Yeah, she enjoys life. She gives positive energy as well. So.
She does. She has a very infectious smile.
Yes.
It's very rare to have such an infectious smile. Very nice. And what's your favorite board game?
And by the way, what I also like about her, she's not about perfection. Yeah, there's a very nice quote from her which says, "I've made peace with the fact that the things that I thought were weaknesses or flaws were just me." I like that. And very that nice quote I put here on a piece of paper because I thought I have to give it to you and also the community, because that's something which is very important as well. This whole thing about being perfect doesn't work. Yeah? Be yourself, and I think that is very important.
And I think there's humanity in that as well.
Yes, yeah. But especially in the beginning of your career, you always have the feeling you have to be perfect and everything has to be very good, and that doesn't work, yeah? Because then you have to be more relaxed in order to be good.
Very good. Yeah, good stuff.
And board game, I have to admit, I love Scrabble, but I'm the only one, yeah. But I think it's due to the fact that I played it a lot with my grandma, so I think that I have an emotional connection to that one. But other than that, we play a lot of games. Monopoly is something which my husband and my daughter like, so that's also good. So different sorts of board games.
The game of trade. I'll remember that. I'll remember that. Now, of course, you lead an immensely busy life. Because we've spent quite a few years between events, inviting you, and of course having you, kind of post on LinkedIn quite a bit, because you, of course, want to share a lot of the messages that are out there with your community, and you want to keep them connected to what you're on as well. But what app keeps you focused? What is the one app that you have to get into every single day?
I mean, my mind went to LinkedIn first. I have to admit that one, and then it was like, no, that's not it. I have to say, because my twin daughters are now studying. So one of them is in the UK, the other one in the Netherlands. And I mean, the minute you want to get in touch with them, it's WhatsApp. And even my parents now are WhatsApp. So we are all the WhatsApp family.
God bless them.
And then also, I mean, my twins are half Swedish, so it's not that easy to stay in touch with the Swedish family all the time. And we had a time where it was Facebook, so everybody Facebook. Now I have to admit it's WhatsApp, and everybody stays in touch via WhatsApp, and we're sending along pictures and messages. So that's very nice.
I have to knock on everything when I say this. I'm happy we have WhatsApp. I cannot imagine a lockdown where I'm disconnected with the family without being able to connect with them via some form of video platform or messaging platform. WhatsApp just is one of those easy to use, and you're right. My mom uses as well, so it's easier for her to connect with the rest of the family. By the way, let me ask you a bit more of a personal question. Again, it's beyond the title. I know how my mom felt when I first left the house and said, I'm going to live on the other side of the planet. How is it as a mother, having twins, of course, and living again in two different countries?
I love it because I have a good reason to go to the UK or to the Netherlands. So I would have been disappointed if my kids would have said, "Oh, we stay here with you in Bonn and have our rooms here at your house." I would have said, something is wrong. I mean, something didn't work out well here.
They just want to stay with mom.
They moved around with me so much as well. So they are used to other countries, other cultures, went to the international school. So, I mean, I would have been very astonished if they would have said, no, we stay here.
I thought this is actually a very nice upbringing as well. I think they got to taste, I say freedom in a very loose sense, but I mean they got to taste travel, and you have the travel bug, so you really want to go and travel and explore and see, and as you mentioned, you want to see every culture out there, you want to experience it, so I guess your daughters have taken after you.
I give you one little anecdote, and it never dawned on me that small differences, I mean, can have a big impact. But the first country I lived in and worked in was Sweden. And in Sweden, I had my birthday, and I was like, okay, I bake a cake, bring the cake to the office. And in Germany, you do it as such that you cut the cake in equal pieces, and then everybody can take a piece.
Oh, wow.
In Sweden, you don't do that. So, I mean, I come with my cake, cut the cake in pieces, and people look at me like and nobody wanted to take a piece of cake. And I'm like, does my cake look so bad? And then somebody told me, Monika, why did you pre-cut the cake? Because here in Sweden, everybody wants to take a smaller piece, a bigger piece, but we want to decide, and you pre-decided for us, so you don't do that here. And I'm like, okay, fine, next time I know. But that was, funnily, the first time I understood that small things where you are used to doing them can make a big difference without you knowing it.
Very true.
And that is my best example to say, be aware, the small differences can mean a lot.
Oh, very good. Was this Unilever, Sweden?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But not in Stockholm, but in Helsingborg, which is south of Sweden. So.
Very nice. Did you spend a lot of time in Sweden? Did you pick up language? Because I know you pick up languages as well, wherever you go. You did say a few words in Hungarian from your time in Budapest.
Jag pratar svenska, which means I speak Swedish.
I'm gonna ask my Swedish colleagues to teach me a few phrases to come back to you with that as well. Next, beyond the title. Now you mentioned, that right in the beginning you want to be perfect, right? Every single person does. I know. I think I was really trying my best to be perfect in everything, and I did not want to mess up anywhere. But what's the biggest, now that you are such a senior leader in the company, you are a well thought of leader as well. what is the biggest leadership challenge you face when you have your mentors or with your own teams?
Which comes back to the perfectionism again.
Yeah.
I mean, especially now in the insurance industry, that is very adverse to risk. There's a tendency to make everything perfect and look at everything until you go to market.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan. I mean, I'm very good in strategic development, so head in the clouds, so to speak, but then also feet on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you cannot wait and perfect everything all the time. So I'm getting a bit nervous if people can't get into action, yeah? Because I'm into action most of the time, and 80% is good enough if you ask me. Okay, you have to comply with the rules and whatever, but get into action and don't wait and ask 10 people and have another round. And there I have to say I have to be a bit careful because I'm relatively quick in decision making compared to others. But I had several situations where if you don't get the others on board and you run, it doesn't work either, because without the team you cannot get. So I have to be sometimes a bit more patient.
that I think is a fault of mine to the point of horribleness. To be patient. I love to run like a squirrel on caffeine, actually.
Yes.
By the way, are you tea drinker or coffee drinker?
More coffee, to be honest.
More
But
coffee.
sometimes I'm a big fan of ginger tea, but fresh ginger. So.
Oh, I like that. I like that. When you say coffee, is there any particular blend you like? Any particular single source you prefer?
No. I mean, what I like is, for example, latte macchiato, but I've worked together with a lot of Italians recently, and they are like,
Espresso it is.
oh, no. Only in the morning, otherwise you cannot drink that anymore. And I'm like, okay, fine, I know.
Yes, they are very passionate about their coffee and especially a dark, nice shot of coffee. Um,
So the first
I'm
time
having such a good time.
after lunch, they were like almost stopped working together with me.
Oh, no, they would love to keep working with you. And of course, when we are back to traveling again, I'd love to catch up with a cup of coffee, and maybe we could run a new TV, I say TV series, but a new series called Coffee With, and have you as a guest for a different kind of interview as well.
Yes.
Now, because you spoke about the insurance industry, I'm very curious, and I will touch maybe a little bit about your job itself. Uh, has there been any significant change in the way people interact with their insurances, with the digital insurances especially, and in the digital world, from insurance companies to consumers or to their customers? Has there been a significant change in 2020? Do you think that'll be more pronounced in 2021?
I I think the realization that we have to focus on the customer is more prominent now. Uh, I think mentally and rationally everybody is there already, but it's not that easy to switch the DNA of the
Yeah.
industry and companies, unfortunately, because traditionally the relationship to the customer has been delegated to agents and brokers. So it was always like, oh, when I started, it was like, oh, you don't have to take care of the customer because they do it. Today, of course, it's different because the digital relationship is different. So, I mean, people go to a website, want to buy insurance policies there as well, unfortunately. So they don't always go to agents. So we have to change. And fortunately, we have enough data today to say we have to change because we are doing a lot of NPS surveys and other investigations to say, okay, fine, what do we have to do? But the organization of the bigger companies, and by the way, not only insurance, also other industries, is still as such that it's not customer, it is functional. And
Yeah.
of course, the hurdles to change are relatively high because there are a lot of traditions, power, whatever you have. And if you want to switch that to something different, it's It's not that easy.
Oh, wow.
But the pressure is increasing because customers demand that we have a better service, better products, that we react immediately, that we give them answers. So I think the pressure from the customer is increasing immensely.
And I'm guessing that is where. Sorry, go ahead, please.
And because everybody is at home in front of the computer right now, and I'm overdoing it, of course, the pressure is increasing.
Yeah. But I'm guessing this is where you want to create those. You want to remove those hurdles. You want to be there where the customers are. You want to be able to serve them better and improve everything across the board better. And I think everyone wants to just move that faster. Uh, but I completely get your point on that. I completely get your point. Any hope for the future? Any hope you want to see come to fruition later on this year?
I always have positive energy and a positive mood. It is clear that we have to change.
Yeah.
Do we do it bang tomorrow? No, but I think we're taking the right steps now. So it's good.
Well, I can attest to that. You're a very, very positive person. I've had you on stage at Savage before, and then Appreciate, which I think was one of the best presentations I've heard, ever. So thank you so much for joining that, Monica, and sharing that kind of positivity with us. And one last question, because of course, this is beyond the title. One weird fact about you, something that, well, I would imagine some people do know about it, but something that everybody else in the professional life not know about you.
Yeah. I mean, normally I would describe myself as relatively serious and businesswoman, and especially in the office, everybody believes I'm the businesswoman. But nobody knows that we have 7 children in total, and even now 1 grandchild as well. So sometimes
Congratulations.
7 children together with my husband. I have 3 on my own. He has 4 as well, 1 grandchild. So I mean, family and children
Wow.
is a big part of my life as well. And especially if you ask people in the office, they're like, we can't believe this. Yes, yeah, I'm 7 children.
Hey, that's a beautiful thing to have, and congratulations, God bless you, and I look forward to maybe the next interview we have. We should have your entire family portrait, so we can actually show. Yeah,
Yeah, that's yeah.
letting the world know that Monica is as focused on career as she is on her family, and both take precedence. I don't think it's equally. I think your family takes more of your focus and love and everything else, but you still do focus on your career because you are the powerful person that you are.
Yeah, unfortunately, my job takes a lot of time as well, but you can argue. I like both. I also like dealing with the people at the office. So I like people. And I like nice people, like dealing with positive energy. So that's good.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Guys, you have heard it here from Miss Monika Schulze, the fantabulous person. Not just the title at Zurich, but the person that she is. For those who are listening in to us, if you have not, watched any of our events that are coming up, we do have a women in leadership event or a gender diversity for business success event coming up on the on the 13th of August at 5:30 p.m. CET. It's led by IKEA. Monica, again, I would love to invite you to that event, but also I do believe that this is going to be a series of conversations. I do want you to be part of those events as well, just because you are an awesome mentor, and I think you are someone who could also shape a lot of that discussion as we move towards 2020, 2021. And seeing this have a main impact or major impact. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for sharing. What is Monika Schulze, and not who is Monika Schulze, and not just Monika Schulze, Zurich Insurance.
Steve, thanks a lot for the lovely interview.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Look forward to speaking with you more. Thank you so much. And for those of you who are tuning in to BTT regularly, we do it every week, Thursday at 10 a.m. CET. Join us next week for Laurent Blastin, who will be joining us from France, from the company Faber Noel. Have a great time and see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.